Ok, et salut à tous, Mage Droops. On est reparti pour faire du Spellforce 3, donc on était dans une séquence avec pas mal de discussions. Dernier coup, on avait, on s'appelle, on avait vendu pas mal, on avait EP tout le monde, on avait découvert nos personnages, on avait vendu tout notre stuff qui était en trop, on avait acheté un nouveau bouclier qu'on va sûrement servir sur toi si tu veux bien le mettre. Ça t'intéresse? Oui, tu veux le mettre, tu veux le mettre. Très bien, voilà. Ouh, les jolis lions. Sympa. Après, à voir, est-ce qu'on peut pas le mettre? Non, 9 constit, il pourra pas le mettre l'autre. Ouais, du coup, c'est spécialement pour toi. 9 constit, lui, ça n'arrivera jamais, ça. Ça n'arrivera jamais. Ok, du coup, bon, on parle à lui. Ce qu'on va faire, c'est qu'on va parler aux différents dialogues. Et si on a le temps, on ira aussi voir aussi le roi des gobelins, voir ce qu'il propose. Allez, go.
I must say, I am impressed.
With Mullendeer? Yes. It's quite a sight. I still can't believe we're the first ones who found this place.
It seems unlikely, yes, but yet it happened. Isgrim, the dwarf, told me about it. He said that the rock illusion shielding the entrance vanished as soon as you spoke the words, and that it did not react to Isgrim himself.
Tell me, Tahar, what do you make of that?
Oh, pas une coïncidence, hein. Je dois avoir un lien, je pense.
Maybe I'm connected to this place.
But how? I know there is more to you than meets the eye. Something about you is different, although I cannot say what it is.
I believe we stand on the verge of a change. Things have happened, Tahar. Things, the extent of which we have not even come close to comprehending. And they have set something in motion.
Ouais, comment le sais-tu?
How do you know this? Are you some kind of medium?
A medium? No, quite the opposite. I am an observer. As you have undoubtedly noticed, I lack the, let us call it emotional intensity most people display in their daily lives. That can be a challenge, but it also allows me a unique perspective on the world.
And to me, it is evident that the war your father started has done more than simply given birth to the purity of light. It was the first pebble in what will soon become an avalanche.
You're talking about the Bloodburn.
Among other things, yes. But as I said, there is more to it. All this, your journey, your role in what Rondar Lacaine believes to be a vision sent by Aenir. It is only the beginning. But let us continue this discussion when I can give you more than vague, semi-prophetic statements.
All right. We'll talk later.
Why? When?
When something comes up. I'll go prepare for our next mission now.
Understood.
Ah, ok. C'est fini? Ok, ça marche. Donc je fais un petit ellipse, le temps d'aller rejoindre Isgrim qui est à l'autre bout du monde. Et quoique, attendez, je vais
Understood.
aussi parler à tous les autres qui sont dedans. Donc attendez, on va quand même aller jeter un coup d'œil. Si j'arrive à régler ma caméra comme il faut. Ok, c'est bon, ici. Tac. Bon, je manque pas de thunes, hein, vous avez vu, hein, j'ai encore 18 000, malgré tout ce que je viens d'acheter, donc je peux encore me lâcher un peu. Niveau stuff, pareil, je pense pas être un stuffé dégueulasse. Hein. Et ouais, je suis bien. C'est vraiment ce casque est vilain, mais bon, il me fait marrer d'avocat. On va mettre ça à la place. Hein. Mais bon, ça me fait marrer quoi. Le fait d'invoquer un petit gobelin, souvent en fait, il attire l'attention. Et ça permet à mon tank de prendre moins de coups en fait. Mais vous avez vu, il y a vraiment plein de choses différentes à faire dans les builds, c'est cool en fait. Pareil, j'ai pas du tout touché à la nécromancie. Invoquer les squelettes et tout, je suis sûr que c'est super sympa d'invoquer les squelettes. Du coup, ça sera sûrement à tenter un de ces 4 cas. Allez, chargement rapide. Cool. Du coup, posons à Iria. Iria, un personnage que j'aime beaucoup. Hein. J'aime bien le personnage, c'est vraiment sympa de discuter avec elle à chaque fois. C'est ça que j'aime bien l'embarquer avec moi. Là, on va essayer de changer avec une Dargas, parce qu'une Dargas a l'air quand même assez costaud au niveau du soin. Mais peut-être moins du DPS, parce que Iria était quand même assez costaud aussi. Hein. Pas costaud.
How are you holding up?
Elle était bien.
Fine, I guess. Thanks for asking. You know, Corporal, I've been meaning to
Ah.
ask you something.
Yes?
Well, not knowing your mother and all that shit your father put you through. Do you ever feel lost?
Ouais, je m'en sors.
I manage.
I see. You know, I haven't told you that yet, but actually our pasts aren't so different. Save for the fact that my father didn't try to conquer the world, at least not that I know.
How are our pasts alike then?
Simply put, I also didn't know my mother. And my father was a bastard if there ever was one.
What happened to your mother?
She died giving birth to me.
I'm sorry.
It's alright. As I said, I never knew her.
I take it you and your father aren't on good terms then.
You are of great wisdom, Tahar. No, we were not. I was and still am the only heir of the family, and if there's anything my father ever cared about, it was prestige. You see, it might not be obvious, but I'm actually of noble blood. Pure blood, as Finn and Mir elves call it. Nothing impressive, small nobility. You know, similar to the kind of Northander nobility that's always around at royal festivities, licking everyone's boots so that they just don't forget about them.
Ça me paraît logique.
So I assume your father put you under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I barely had a childhood. It was all stern-faced teachers instead, trying to feed me language, history, math, and magic from the day I could speak. And I can't even remember all those festivities and religious ceremonies I had to attend. It was as if I learned the meaning of the word small talk before I learned how to ask for my mother's teat. Not that she would have been around to listen.
J'aime bien la musique derrière. Faudrait que j'essaie de trouver la BO. Ouais.
How about friends?
Oh, that's another topic. I was allowed to go out and play as long as it was with the right people. Still, I didn't, which was my choice, really. One of the few I made in those years. I preferred to stay on my own.
How come?
I don't know. See, I've always felt a bit ahead of others. As you know, we think in other dimensions than you do. Our lives are a lot longer. What that means is that an elf who has seen 20 winters is still considered and looks like a child. Thus, behaves as such. I just never felt at home with most people. Especially around my age. And that feeling never changed.
Faut vraiment que je trouve la BO. Les musiques sont super sympas. Que, contrairement à ce que tout le monde a ses goûts, quoi. Mais moi je trouve que dans un jeu vidéo, le gameplay forcément a un gros impact, quoi. Mais au-delà des graphismes, c'est vraiment moi je trouve que la BO passe avant les graphismes, surtout dans un jeu de style RPG, quoi.
What was your father hoping to gain from this?
Isn't it obvious? He wanted to marry me off, and thus expand our petty little family's prestige.
If he simply wanted to arrange a marriage for you, then why teach you magic, maths? When these things happen in Northander, it's usually more about, how shall I put it?
The looks?
And the ancestry, yes.
Well, these things play a big role in Finn and Mir too, but to be considered a good match, education and magical talent are just as important. For a priest, let alone a pure blood, to be seen with an uneducated, non-gifted street elf is frowned upon, not to say forbidden. Also, from what I've learned, it's mostly young women and girls who get married off in Northander, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, this isn't the case in Finn and Mir. If the head of a family decides to do so, a young boy or a young man may have the same fate as the one I just escaped by a hair's breadth. But this is a topic you could fill books with. Probably not for now.
But it never came to that?
Almost.
Ok. C'était court, ça.
I see. Where is your father now?
Dead as a doornail. He got assassinated some years before I was allowed into the priesthood.
Assassinated? What happened?
He got mistaken for someone else.
Oh
It doesn't
merde.
really matter. Let's not talk about it.
C'est un peu la mort con, ça. Je pense pas qu'on soit... C'est pas parce qu'il veut marier sa fille que il méritait de mourir non plus, quoi. Faut voir.
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be. To be
Ok,
honest,
bon bah
I'm
si, en
glad he's
fait,
dead.
apparemment si.
Otherwise, I would be in bed next to some 200-year-old seer now. You see, Tahar, if there's one thing I took away from all that, it's that there's no greater power in life. Or, if there is, it doesn't care. Murderers live to be 100, children die in the birth beds. Ultimately, the biggest fallacy is that we like to believe that there's someone who gives a damn. We're on our own, and we have to make the best out of whatever life throws at us. I did. And even though not all worked out as I had planned, I'm here. And I'm free.
Ça, je suis pas convaincu. Après, peut-être dans le monde qu'elle a, peut-être que si, mais...
But you still feel lost sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I do. But I'm working on it. Anyway, we digressed quite a bit, didn't we? Sorry, my fault. Sometimes I just talk too much. I'll see you around, Tahar. And thanks for listening.
Ok, c'est cool.
Yes. Yes.
C'est vraiment sympa, ces petites séquences background comme ça. J'aime beaucoup. Allons parler à Gore. voir ce qu'il nous raconte. Tête de gourdu comme ça là. On n'a pas trop envie d'aller lui causer quand il est comme ça. Allez. Et après on ira parler à Isgrim. Isgrim qui est un personnage que j'aimais bien au début, mais du fait qu'on n'arrive pas à améliorer son équipement pour l'instant, bah ça le rend assez useless en fait quoi. Donc,
Let's see.
Huh?
ouais.
How did you become a shapeshifter?
I was chosen.
And how does that work?
Complicated. Are you sure you want to hear the whole story? Time isn't exactly on our side.
Ouais.
It isn't, but the more I know about your abilities, the better. You're fighting for me, after all.
We're not fighting for you, Tahar. We are fighting alongside each other. That's a big difference.
Alongside, then.
Good. Let's make it
Non,
short.
faut pas le
then.
contrarier.
Shapeshifting is a gift of Zarek. One that only the best of his shamans are granted.
And how does one become a shaman?
He has to be chosen by a tribe's chieftain. You see, magical talent is a lot rarer among orcs than it is among humans or elves. In my tribe, there was only me and Rain. We both discovered our talent by chance. I, when I was 9, and put out a fire that had broken out in my family's hut. Everybody was asleep, even the damn fool that had been tasked to stand guard. When I woke up, the entire room was in flames.
So it was your magic that woke you?
No, I needed to take a piss.
Makes sense. What happened then?
I panicked and started screaming, as every child would have. However, the only thing that did was make me inhale the fumes even quicker. My vision blurred and I lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I was on a bed of hay in the village shaman's tent, and everybody was staring at me, as if I was Zarek incarnate. I asked what happened and they told me. Just when I had lost consciousness, it had started to rain. Not just a little. It was a full-fledged storm, a deluge from the skies. With not even a minute, all the tents in the village had been flooded. The fire wasn't extinguished right away, but was quickly put out by the other orcs that had been awoken by the storm.
Ok. Donc il doit son statut et non lui de pisser. C'est rigolo quand même. Ouais.
How did they know it was you? It could have been a coincidence.
An unlikely one, yes. But you're right. According to my brothers, I had an orange shimmer in my eyes and was muttering strange words when they took me to the shaman. She told me that was a clear sign that I was gifted, and that I had fire in my blood, as my tribe likes to say. Of course, it changed my life entirely. All of a sudden, I was my Cal's pride. It was strange, not just for me, but also for my kin.
Who trained you? The healer?
Yes, but only about her craft. Primitive ghost callings, alchemy, medicine. I learned my magic from an elder who lived in a tiny shack a 15-mile march from our village. I woke up every day before dawn, walked for 2 hours, served him, and received my lessons. Then returned to my Cal shortly before midnight. It was hard, yes, but it was insightful. Those long walks in the darkness, the solitude at the foot of the mountain where his shack was, they shaped me.
How did your family take it?
Well, they were proud. But they also weren't sure how to treat me anymore. For example, my father stopped taking me out on the hunt because he was afraid that something might happen. Which is ridiculous, shaman or not. And also my siblings became withdrawn. Jealousy, of course, but also estrangement. All of a sudden, their baby brother had become this strange being, which had apparently been bitten by Zarek himself.
it's always like that. Being different isolates you.
I guess.
Interesting. And who is this Rain you mentioned earlier?
Did I? Well, that's complicated. I don't want to talk about it.
Ok.
All right,
Ouais. On va lui
I'll be off.
On peut leur poser des questions, mais il va pas vouloir.
I'll be off.
Merde. Ah.
Huh?
Regarding this Rain...
No, Tahar. Accept it.
Ok. Ça marche. On va l'accepter. Ça, on n'a pas vraiment le choix. Du coup, on va aller voir Isgrim. Beaucoup de background, hein. Ça fait des vidéos, beaucoup de dialogues. Je sais qu'il y en a qui aiment pas ça, je sais qu'il y en a qui aiment bien ça. Après, je pense que les gens qui suivent encore ce let's play jusqu'à cette vidéo-là, je pense qu'ils aiment bien le background, parce que j'ai tendance à tout lire. À tout lire et à tout suivre. Donc du coup, je pense que ceux qui suivent encore ce let's play maintenant aiment bien savoir ce qui se passe en fait. Donc je pense pas que ça les gêne d'avoir le background en fait. Petit toi. Non, de l'autre sens. Toujours le bug qui part de l'autre sens. Donc parlant à Isgrim. Insère la pierre du Nexus dans la cavité. Ok. Ça roule. Parlons d'abord à Isgrim. Peut-être des pièces à lui filer pour qu'il se fasse une stuff.
Yeah, do you need something? I'm a tad busy.
Ouais, tout ça. Non, que ça. Ok.
I'd still like to know more about how you ended up in Northander.
Bugger and blast. And here I was hoping you'd forgotten. All right, I'll tell you. But only under one condition.
Yes?
That I get to ask you a personal question too.
Then we have a deal. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Fair enough. I was born in the Windwall Mountains. Sorry, still sorting out my thoughts. It's been a long time since I last told this story to anyone. Alright, one more time. As you can imagine, I was born in Windwall, a child of the rocks.
Come again?
A true dwarf, as some would say. Born in the buried city, not on the outside as the traders and farmers are. My family was quite privileged. Not nobility, but my mother and father led a big smeltery which supplied one of the finest smithies. Moon silver weaponry. Ever heard of it?
I think so. The commanders of the Royal Army use them.
Figures. Well, my childhood was a rather unremarkable one. I had two brothers and a sister, and even though I was the oldest child, I was always the most quiet one. I learned quickly how to wield an axe, and I still know how to do it, but I never took pleasure in it. The same goes for my parents' craft. For some reason, Nihalf had given me a talent for metallurgy, but not the desire to use it. Instead, my biggest love was always made with ink. Books.
But I assume your parents didn't approve of that.
Oh no, they didn't mind. I had 3 siblings who could do the job as well as I, so the future of our family was secured. On the contrary, they were quite accepting, which wasn't usual amongst dwarves, especially not those in Windwall.
C'est cool ça du coup.
So, what happened? Why did you leave Windwall?
I'm getting there, Tahar. When I came of age, I found work in the Windwall Library. That time was also when I deepened my knowledge of the Shapers. I devoured all the books there were, and bought whatever writings the merchants brought in. They smiled at me, talked of me as the strange bird, but I didn't care. The more I read, the more spellbound I became. And the more I dreamed of journeying through Io to solve all those mysteries not yet uncovered.
Are there Shaper ruins in the Windwall Mountains?
Hardly. And those that are there are buried beneath miles and miles of rock. Impossible to access without a huge expedition.
Huh. And what kept you from doing just that?
Well, 2 things. First of all, my attachment to my family. Secondly, Gilak.
Gilead?
My, partner.
You had a partner?
Yeah, we met... I'd rather not go into detail too much. Fact is, we lived together for 6 years. He was very dear to me. Let's put it that way.
What are dwarven families like?
Similar to their human counterparts, I believe. Having family and offspring is...
But living with someone of the same sex is acceptable?
Voilà.
yes
je
and
pensais.
no. If you do, you don't talk about it. And you should make sure to find yourself a wife or a husband to found a proper family, eventually, and bring new children of stone into the world. even if that family is just a charade. If you don't do that, you're frowned upon. There's even a word for a childless dwarf, man or woman. Galrag, which roughly translates as dusty boulder. Very amusing, I know.
Ouais, c'est triste, ouais.
That's sad.
Well, I doubt it's going to change anytime soon. And once again, the Shapers were different in that regard. As long as you stay within the boundaries of your caste, you could do as you pleased.
I understand. But something happened, didn't it?
Yeah. The Blackstone Rebellion. Ever heard of it?
No.
A coup. A small group of rebels tried to overthrow the royal house. It was bound to fail from the beginning. The rebels were anti-traditionalist and wanted to establish a new order, where it's the people who have the power, not the nobility. Gilak was one of these rebels.
Oh.
Yeah. At first, before the coup, they tried to raise awareness by giving underground speeches. A noble endeavor, but not at all thought through. Most dwarves just don't care about politics as long as they can have their mugs of ale. At first, he didn't ask me to participate, but the more sour things went, the more he started pushing me. At one point, we had a fight. When he asked me to steal money from my family to support the movement, it was terrible. Finally, push came to shove, and he told me of the coup. He knew that despite my occupation, I was a remarkable fighter and Earthshaper, which is why he asked me to fight alongside him. You can make a difference, that's what he said. By Nihalf, he was just so naive. He really thought it would be like in the old legends, a group of courageous dwarfs fighting their way to Algrim Castle with me at his side. I just don't... Forgive me. It's strange to talk about it like this.
It's okay. Thank you for trusting me.
Yeah, sure. You can imagine how torn I was. I knew he'd die if the coup took place, but I also knew that I couldn't stop him. When I told him he was mad, he called me a coward, a delusional bookworm, who'd rather spend his whole life dreaming about the past than changing the present. And then he left. The next day, I found him beheaded by a royal guard. They didn't even make it to the castle stairs.
I'm sorry, Iskrin.
It's all right.
Bon, ça me paraît logique pourquoi elle a pas prévenu les gardes, quoi. On peut quand même poser la question.
Why didn't you tell the guard about the movement's plans? They could have stopped him.
Yeah, they could have. Only to execute him and all his friends the next morrow. Tahar, believe me, I thought about this quite a lot. About what I could or should have done. And do you want to know the saddest part of it?
What?
I came to the conclusion that I did nothing wrong. He had his mind set, and nothing I could have said would have changed what had been about to happen. In the end, there's only so much you can do.
What happened then?
I ran. Not only because I'd rather have died than return to that empty house of ours, but also because they would have arrested me too. Our relationship wasn't a secret, and in their eyes, I was as eccentric as Gilak and his friends. And we all know how dangerous eccentrics are, don't we? I left my family a letter, telling them not to come after me, bought a horse, and rode as far as it would take me before collapsing. That was 9 years ago. I haven't returned ever since.
What about your family? Did you ever hear from them again?
Not directly. Every now and then, I return to a big city to find a dwarf who can tell me about Windwall. But the thought of returning, I don't know. I know it's cruel toward them, but I just don't think I could ever bear setting foot in those cursed stone halls again.
I see. And since then, you've been studying the Shapers?
Yeah. If there really is, as people say, a silver lining to everything, then this would be it. I'm finally doing what I was too afraid to do back in Windwall. I'm living my dream. Though the price I paid for it was high. And you know what, Tahar?
What?
There's a third reason to my fascination with the Shapers I haven't told you about yet. It's Gilak. Stupid as it may sound, there's a part of me who wants to prove him wrong. To show him that the past has value, that it can guide us towards a better world.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing this, Iskrim. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It felt good to talk about it. I didn't expect that. But you're not off the hook yet. The question, remember?
Right. Shoot.
Your past is even more unusual than mine. Growing up with a man like Isamu Tahar as your father? Without a mother? And then the whole thing with the Mage Rebellion? I know you've been through a lot. Now, I was wondering, if you could trade that past you've had for a different one, would you do it?
Ça n'a pas trop d'importance, c'est clair, mais... Échanger le passé? Non, je pense pas.
What kind of a past could I choose? Anything?
Anything.
Sûrement, hein.
Of course I would.
That's what I thought. Either way, pleasure speaking with you. Hope this wasn't too grim for you, but then again, you asked for it. Give me some time now, will you?
Sure. Take care, Iskrim.
Isgrim a maintenant acquis une compétence Bastion. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Isgrim? Ah, super. 27 PC. C'est cher, non? Il faut que je retire toutes les points de compétences que j'ai ici pour mettre ça ici? Non, quand même pas, si. Non, bah non, j'ai de la merde. Non, je peux mettre le point dedans, d'accord. Au prochain level, je peux mettre un point ici. D'accord. Et y'a que lui qui a débloqué ça? Les autres, ils ont pas le droit? Oh, c'est moche. Isgrim a du coup avec ça. Bastion. 20 secondes, 60 secondes. On chasse temporairement votre héros dans la pierre et le rend invulnérable. En 20 secondes. C'est costaud. Vraiment, c'est balèze. Ok. C'est cool. C'est cool. Et par contre, du coup... Donc c'est en débloquant le background des personnages qu'on débloque leurs compétences. Ultime. C'est bien.
Tahar, finally! Do you have the stone?
I do. What now? How do we connect it to the Nexus?
Well, I've done a little research on that. It should be pretty straightforward. Give me the stone for a second, please.
Sure.
Thanks. Now, let's see. Whoa!
This is amazing.
What the heck just happened? Was that the stone?
Yeah. It seems like our plan worked. The stones are the power sources of the Nexus.
Not sources, Tahar. They're simply the catalysts. As I said, the energy, all this magic, it comes from someplace else.
Well, I definitely know why the Shapers were so powerful now. If they were able to harness that, I wouldn't want to be their enemy.
Pain.
Pardon?
Rekindling this place. I can feel their thoughts now. At least, some of them.
You mean the Shaper's thoughts?
Those who connected themselves to this place. The ones who had the power of telepathy. They left an echo, and whatever wiped out the Shapers, it caused... pain. Horrible pain.
I see.
Well, fascinating or not, we need to connect our minds to the Nexus to find the source of the blood burn, right? Can we do that now?
No. It's not strong enough yet.
Well, we knew that already. We need to find the second stone first. Let's head to Aernir's Blade. It's a long journey, but we don't have a choice.
Ok. Donc, on connaît notre prochaine destination. Donc ce que je vais faire... Donc je vais sortir de là, donc il faut aller du coup dans le truc, donc je vais sortir... Non, pas directement. Ce que je vais faire, c'est qu'on va se retrouver directement, je pense, devant le gobelin. Voir si on peut lui rendre la chair. Et là, tout de suite. Ok, donc je suis enfin arrivé chez mon pote le gobelin. Voilà. Du coup, pendant que je cherchais le gobelin, en fait, je me suis un peu perdu, parce que je savais plus trop où est-ce qu'il était. Et j'ai refait un peu les deux premières cartes pour le trouver. Vous savez, les deux premières cartes, c'était la carte des réfugiés, enfin de Farlord, et puis la carte pour la fois qu'on rencontre les orques. Et du coup, j'ai remarqué que j'avais oublié de visiter plein de zones. Donc j'ai pas trouvé grand chose. Sauf un truc en particulier, par contre, c'était... j'ai trouvé une pièce de... J'ai ramassé plein de cochons. J'ai oublié plein de trucs au sol. Hein. J'ai trouvé des golems de feu que j'ai pu tuer, et puis récupérer leurs équipements. Et j'ai surtout trouvé ceci. Alors attendez, c'est quoi? C'était... C'est où? Ça. J'ai trouvé une pièce naine. Voilà, ça c'était dommage, je l'ai raté. Voilà, donc je pense que j'ai raté pas mal de petites choses. Donc, je ferai sûrement un petit tour sur chacune des cartes en offre pour retrouver des choses. Ok? Allez, on parle à lui.
Who is this? My strange flesh friends. Did they bring more meat? Ah, yes, they did. City goblins, is it not? God King likes. Chewy, yes, but good for power. God King thanks. Here, take. Found in tunnels, but God King don't need. Now go. Find more meat for God King. More meat for power. God King will give treasure.
Ok. Donc, point de compétences. Oh, c'est cool ça. Ça donne. Augmente d'une charge de maximum de restation. Ok. C'est pas mal ça. Et sinon, ça c'est cool aussi. Hein. Un point de compétence. Bah écoutez, on va prendre ça. Hein. C'est cool.
Let's see.
Who is this? My forest goblins, he sees. Good flesh, nice and green. Power will be pleased. God King very happy. Strange flesh people friends. Again, God King has treasure. Bring him more for final treasure.
Ok. Potion de puissance. Améliore attribut de tous les guerriers, d'accord. On s'en fout, on va prendre des potions de... Le but c'est de pas mourir. Hein. Est-ce qu'on peut encore lui enfiler?
Who is this? My strength? This flesh good. Very good. God King likes. Power will be pleased. Dark beyond. Come, come. God King has present. God King grateful for so much flesh. God King will not have to eat scions for years now. This is his thanks. It's a spoon. Found long time ago in depths of caves. God King used it to cook flesh. Helps the power. You will have it. Now go. God King has no more treasures, but still needs meat.
Ok. Ah. Compétence ou puissance? Je dirais puissance. Ah, j'hésite. Ouais, puissance quand même. Ah, on peut prendre les deux. Oh, très bien. Impeccable. Du coup, on a fini avec... Ok, on a fini avec le gobelin. Très bien.
Yes? What do strange flesh people want?
I think we'll be off now.
Ok, bah écoutez, c'est cool. C'est cool, franchement. On a fini avec le gobelin. Bah très bien. Impeccable. On a eu des petites potions en plus. C'est assez cool. Donc attendez, bizarrement, je pense pas l'utiliser sur Tahar, mais peut-être directement sur... Oh, en plus j'ai pris un level, magnifique. Bah c'est cool. Franchement, c'est cool. Donc on a eu 2 potions de puissance, 2 potions de compétence. Donc peut-être utiliser sur Uram en fait, hein, parce que Uram c'est un personnage que j'aime beaucoup. Et en plus je dois lui mettre 2 points ici dans l'arme de main, je dois lui mettre des points ici dans l'appel des anciens. Ah ouais, ça peut être cool en fait. Ça peut être cool. Parce que Tahar, qu'est-ce que je vais lui prendre au pire? Pas grand chose, hein. Pas grand chose. Non, je pense que c'est Uram qui va récupérer, ça. Mais de toute façon, on est capé à 10. Ça peut être correct. Hein. Ok, de toute façon, je verrai ça plus tard. Bah, écoutez, je vous remercie d'avoir regardé cet épisode. Prochain épisode, du coup, ce qu'on va faire, c'est qu'on va du coup faire passer un level encore une fois nos personnages, et on ira directement faire les autres quêtes. Allez, bis.